Warning, this video was filmed prior to the February 2nd, 2024 taping of Friday Night SmackDown. Anything that took place during the show will not be mentioned or discussed. Thank you and enjoy.
Hey everyone, it's Victoria. Today I'm going to be predicting every single match that's going to happen at the 2024 WWE Elimination Chamber. You guys loved my Royal Rumble content that I posted across all platforms, especially on YouTube, and I cannot thank you guys enough for reaching over 600 subscribers. That is absolutely insane. I am so excited to continue all of my pro wrestling and Disney content. You guys know that I love those two things, and you guys seem to love them as well. But like I said, today I'm going to be predicting every single match that I would like to see and what I think might happen at the 2024 Elimination Chamber. I have a note filled of things that I want to talk about in this video. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell so you never miss another video, and follow me at It's Victoria Daisy everywhere you can find me. So let's start with the Women's Elimination Chamber. In my opinion, WWE has had the best women's division they've ever had in the past few months to a year. They have had so many returns, NXT call-ups, and just women that have really stepped up and shown that they can be main event superstars. Now, obviously, I'm a huge fan of the women's division. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a time where the women's evolution was just beginning. I got to see the end of the Divas era all the way from when they started up the women's evolution. So seeing where the women are now is so special. So there's a lot of women that I think are very deserving of being in one of the 6 spots for the chamber. My first pick for the Women's Elimination Chamber is Liv Morgan. She is a former SmackDown Women's Champion and former Women's Tag Team Champion, and she recently returned at the 2024 Royal Rumble in Tropicana Field. Now, if you guys remember from about a year or two ago, before Rhea Ripley became champion, Liv and Rhea were actually tag team partners. They competed in several matches, even a match at WrestleMania. They have so much history together, and I think WWE has teased the fans a little bit with bringing either this tag team back or developing their story further. I know that Rhea has said in previous interviews that she would love to have Liv join the Judgment Day, and I honestly truly believe that if Liv Morgan joined the Judgment Day, it would really elevate her not only as a character but even in-ring work as well. I am a little biased. I'm wearing my Judgment Day t-shirt. I love them so much, but I honestly think this would be so beneficial for her. And even if she doesn't, I think her winning the chamber and going to face Rhea at WrestleMania would be such a phenomenal opportunity for her. Getting to face your former partner and now rival on the biggest stage of them all this year in Philadelphia would be a huge deal for Liv, and even just having a nice showing in the chamber would do so well for her as well. Also, the crowd loves Liv, and I think when she came back to the Royal Rumble this year, she came back with a new attitude, a new gimmick, if you will. I've recently seen on the WWE website that in their shop area, she has new merch, and it says "Cry About It," and she's been using that a little bit in her promos and backstage interviews, so I think that could play into her new attitude. I'm very excited to see what goes down between now and the chamber. We're only a few weeks away, and as I'm filming this, it is currently February 2nd, so we have SmackDown tonight. Now, I don't think anything involving her will happen tonight, but Bayley is supposed to make her decision on who she is going to face at WrestleMania since she is the winner of the 2024 Royal Rumble. I will get into that a little bit later. My second pick for the Women's Elimination Chamber is a former 4-time Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch has actually never been in an elimination chamber before, partially because she's been champion so many times in the past during these events. Becky Lynch has proven over the course of her run in WWE that she is one of the greatest to ever do it. She says it all the time, and honestly, I believe her. I honestly don't see why not to put her in the Women's Elimination Chamber, not only because she's never been in one, but because she continues to climb to the top of the ladder, whether it's winning every single championship on the main roster or even recently going down to NXT and winning their championship and competing there for a while. The next superstar I'm going to be picking is a former 3-time women's champion, Bianca Belair. She is one of my favorites. What can she not do? I mean, she's the EST after all. She is absolutely amazing, and she definitely deserves to be in this year's chamber. She began her journey in 2021 when she won the Women's Royal Rumble and went on to face Sasha Banks, the champion at the time, my favorite, at WrestleMania, and became champion then. She's had multiple championship matches throughout her career, and I definitely don't think that's the end of it. The next superstar I'm going to be picking for the Women's Elimination Chamber is going to be someone who is a former SmackDown Women's Champion and recently had her return at the 2024 Royal Rumble. That is Naomi. If you would have told me 2 years ago that I was making this video and putting Naomi in the Elimination Chamber, I would have looked at you and laughed. In Naomi's first run with the WWE, I honestly believe she was booked very poorly. Yes, she did have a championship in 2017, but that was very short-lived, and I think that she deserves better, especially with her time that she had in TNA this past year. She became the Knockouts Women's Champion over there. She has dominated that entire company, and now that she is back, she has this almost prestige on her, and everyone kind of looks at her like, whoa, be careful, Naomi is back. I wouldn't mind to see them put her in a main event type of match. This is a huge match that everyone's going to be watching, and for those who didn't get to watch her in TNA, or for those who are newer fans who have no clue who Naomi is, I think this would be a great opportunity for her to show everyone what she can do. Next, I'm going to be putting in somebody who recently debuted at the Royal Rumble, and that is Jade Cargill. Now, I honestly feel 50-50 about this, and I'll explain why. So starting with the positive side, since Jade Cargill's arrival last year, WWE has made it a point to make sure that everyone knows Jade Cargill is a force to be reckoned with. She is a mega star, and she must be treated as so. They definitely debuted her in a big way with a big bang in front of 48,000 people at Tropicana Field and millions at home. She eliminated Nia Jax and multiple other superstars, which is absolutely crazy. She had a wonderful moment with Bianca Belair where they were holding up who I believe was Liv Morgan, and I don't remember who Jade was holding, and it was such an exhilarating moment. I was there live. I got to see it. It was absolutely incredible, mind-blowing. Jade has had so many appearances on WWE TV, yet she's only had one match, and that was her debut at the Royal Rumble. Now, I definitely do think she'll have a few matches here and there before the Elimination Chamber, but I think putting her in the chamber and really treating her like the megastar you are claiming to treat her as would be such a big deal. Now, am I saying she's gonna win it? No, but I definitely do think her having a great showing and showing what she's all about and that the storm is here, as she likes to say, would be awesome. The last superstar I'm going to be putting in the Women's Elimination Chamber is a former tag team champion and somebody who you may not be expecting, and honestly I shocked myself picking her, but that is Chelsea Green. Chelsea has proven over the course of her time here in WWE that she honestly is a star. I know she may not be put in these big matches, and currently she's a part of a tag team with Piper Niven, but if you watch her in the ring, she's honestly really good. And her character is spot on. When she returned at the 2023 Royal Rumble from her hiatus when she was out in the Indies, she came back with this Karen persona that I don't think completely sticked with the WWE universe, but they kind of tweaked it over time, and I think it worked out beautifully. Everyone loves her, and she currently has a really fun ring announcement by Samantha Irvin when she goes, "Chelsea Green." She's also a fan favorite, and I would love to see her in the Elimination Chamber. Now, do I think they're actually going to put her in it? No, but honestly, personally, I would love to see her in it. Because she is such a funny character, I would love to see how she would handle the chamber. The chamber is very stressful, it's very competitive, and it's very, you're in survival mode, it's fight or flight. Those are all the 6 women that I'm predicting to be in the 2024 Women's Elimination Chamber. Now, with these predictions, I'm not claiming that this is what's happening. I'm not putting money down on DraftKings that this is what's going on. I'm just predicting based off of personal information and what I know and what I would like to see. I think these women would be so entertaining in the chamber. I think their chemistry altogether would be so interesting. Now, to finish off this little section, I'm going to be telling you who I think should win, and I'm honestly split on this one. So I think either Liv Morgan or Becky Lynch should win. I think both of them have a really good shot. We know that during the past few weeks, Rhea and Becky have had some exchanges in the ring, some promos, some back and forths. The WWE has definitely been teasing at some potential rivalry soon, maybe for Mania, maybe after, I'm not really sure. As I mentioned before, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley definitely have a lot of history together, and I would love for them to expand on that. I think the fans really want that, and that would be so awesome. Now, the winner of this match would most likely face Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship. Now, I know as of right now, I told you guys that I have no clue who Bayley's picking. My prediction is that she's going to pick Rhea Ripley for now, but we still have a lot going on, a lot of moving parts in the Damage Control story. That is still a lot to be told between now and WrestleMania. I definitely do think that a month before, maybe they're gonna change it to EO, because I definitely do think at some point Damage Control will turn their back on Bayley. I don't think vice versa. I think it's time Bayley has a face turn. I'm very excited to see how this story unfolds. Now we're going to be moving on to the men's elimination chamber. The first superstar I'm going to be putting in my men's elimination chamber is a former two-time WWE champion, Drew McIntyre. While I would have loved to see a really nice build-up, maybe even a little side quest, as I like to call it, of a rivalry between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk leading up to the chamber, or potentially after, that obviously is not going to happen due to CM Punk's tricep injury from Drew McIntyre himself that happened during the Royal Rumble. It was absolutely heartbreaking to see him absolutely in shambles, and then of course Drew McIntyre had to come out and ruin it. Now, putting my CM Punk fan bias aside, Drew McIntyre is an absolute mastermind when it comes to being a heel. He recently turned heel, if I'm not mistaken, and he's done a phenomenal job. He's used social media as a tool to further antagonize CM Punk. If you guys haven't seen, go check out his Instagram and TikTok. He is absolutely just ripping him apart. Bringing back in my CM Punk fan bias, obviously it hurts to see somebody just beating the crap out of him verbally and on social media, but he's a wizard at everything he does. He's phenomenal. And I would love to see Drew McIntyre be in the Elimination Chamber. Now, he's somebody that I definitely do think will be in it. He also has had phenomenal chemistry with Roman Reigns in the past at their match at the 2023 Clash at the Castle. That was the match that we literally thought Drew McIntyre was winning. I think every match that Roman Reigns has had at a PLE, we literally thought the opponent was winning, but he definitely had a great match with him. He also has a lot of unfinished business with Seth Rollins. I would love to see them expand on that. The next superstar I'm going to be putting in the men's elimination chamber is a former 8-time tag team champion. He is main event Jey Uso. Jey is on fire right now with the crowd. He's a fan favorite. Everybody loves him. If Jey Uso is going to be in the elimination chamber, I would love to see some promos of him leading up to the chamber, explaining why he should win, maybe talking about if he does win, what he's gonna do after, face Roman at Mania possibly, since at the time of filming this video, Cody has not chosen who he is going to face at WrestleMania, since, you know, he was going to choose Roman, but then Seth gave him a literal essay on why he should choose him. Obviously, we know he's going to choose Roman in the end, but if we don't get an answer before the chamber, I would love to see Jey talk a little bit about that. The next superstar I would love to see in the men's elimination chamber is a former NXT Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion. That is Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn recently returned at the 2024 Royal Rumble, and I am so excited to have him back. He is definitely a fan favorite and a top star. His reasoning for being in the chamber and his motivation to try and win it could be reviving a little bit of the bloodline story he had going on last year. There's many different ways you could revive it, and the reason I put it in quotes is because obviously he's not winning, but I definitely do think that would be fun to put him in there. The next superstar I'm going to be putting in the men's elimination chamber is none other the Aussie icon himself, Grayson Waller. With this PLE taking place in Perth, Australia, this is the first time that WWE has done a PLE in Australia, and obviously they're making it a big deal. I definitely do think they're going to bring out a lot of their Australian talent, and one being Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller has a few reasons of why I think he should be in the chamber. The biggest reason being the fact that he is literally an Australian talent. The Australian people are gonna love him. They already do. He has expressed multiple times, and even at this past Royal Rumble, how he is proud of his country and he loves to represent it. He could definitely use that to his advantage and do cool promos leading up to it. The next superstar I'm going to be putting in the men's elimination chamber is none other than Grayson Waller's current tag team partner, Austin Theory. Theory is a former United States champion and one of the best in my opinion. He has chamber experience, and I think it's always so interesting getting to see tag teams in an elimination chamber or even in another PLE such as the Royal Rumble. I always find those so interesting to see factions and tag teams teaming up together to take on everybody else, and then neither of them end up winning. I think it's super important to have somebody like Grayson Waller, who is an Aussie talent, in the elimination chamber, and I think just adding Austin Theory in there is just going to elevate them as well, give them more exposure internationally, and honestly, this is just another great match to showcase how good they are. The last superstar I'm going to be putting in the men's elimination chamber is none other than Bronson Reed. Reid. Bronson Reid is another Australian talent, which is one big reason as to why I'm putting him in this Elimination Chamber. If you've been watching Monday Night Raw the past few months, you would notice that Bronson Reid is honestly on TV a lot, whether it is backstage interviews or it's in-ring stuff. I was never really a fan of Bronson Reid until recently when he had a match on Monday Night Raw, and I was absolutely blown away. And I was like, you know what? I'm hopping on the bandwagon now. I need to see him in the Elimination Chamber, and I need to see him go on and win big gold. So those are the 6 superstars that I'm predicting to be in the 2024 Men's Elimination Chamber. Now, if I had to pick a winner out of the 6, I honestly am going to put my money on Drew McIntyre. Like I mentioned earlier, he has a lot of unfinished business with Seth freaking Rollins, and I would love to see that story continue to play out. Now, something I do want to mention is that CM Punk is injured. He is out with a tricep injury, his right tricep to be specific, and Drew McIntyre actually did that to him in the Royal Rumble. So I think having him win and getting to be like, hey Punk, look what you missed out on. I won the chamber. I'm going to Mania to face Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship and possibly win it at Mania would be such a slap in the face. And I honestly think it would be great. Again, putting my CM Punk fan bias aside. Something that I forgot to mention before is that there are currently rumors going around the Twitter tweet, or known as X now, that Grayson Waller possibly could be having an episode of the Grayson Waller effect in Australia for the Elimination Chamber, and possibly that's where The Rock will return. I don't know how true that is, but regardless, I'm still predicting him to be in the Men's Elimination Chamber, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, especially because, again, he is an Aussie talent. They are in Australia, and I think that would be so special for the Australian people. Now that we are done with both chambers themselves, I'm going to be moving on to 3 matches that I think could potentially happen at this year's Elimination Chamber. Now, something I want to mention before I get into this is that they are going to be heavily leaning on some of their other champions like Rhea Ripley, Logan Paul, considering the fact that as of right now, Roman Reigns is not scheduled to appear. Gunther is having some visa issues, I've heard, stuff with just like traveling internationally. Io Sky and Damage Control are currently not scheduled for the show. Considering everything that's happening, there's a lot of moving parts in the Damage Control story and a lot is pending right now. So nothing is announced. Again, maybe she will have a title defense, but with Rhea Ripley being their women's champion, one of their top stars, I definitely do think she will be defending. Which leads us into my first match prediction is Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax have had an ongoing rivalry per se the past few months on Monday Night Raw. Nia finds it very enjoyable to absolutely squash the crap out of Rhea Ripley. We saw it recently this past week on Raw where Nia squashed Rhea Ripley in front of Damage Control. I would love to see Rhea get her lick back per se and get her revenge on Nia. While she is the women's champion, one of their top stars, and will be defending her championship most likely at this PLE, she still has yet to formally get her hands on Nia and really show her who mommy's made of and why mommy's always on top. I think this mini story, this mini rivalry side quest, if you will, before WrestleMania is so pivotal because if Rhea is able to successfully defend her title against somebody like Nia Jax, that is a huge win for her and just continues to add prestige to her. I did mention earlier when I was talking about the Women's Elimination Chamber that I do think that Bayley is going to be facing Io at Mania, but as of right now, she's probably going to pick Rhea just because nothing has happened yet with Damage Control where they have turned on Bayley. So I would definitely love to see them play into that a little bit after the chamber, but we also don't know who's winning the chamber. Could be Liv, could be Becky, could be somebody else. There's a lot pending right now. That's why I'm not giving like a full prediction, but I hope this is enough to like get you guys excited because I am definitely excited. All right, the next match I'm going to be talking about is another title defense that is going to be coming from Logan Paul, who is currently the United States champion. I would love to see him have his Royal Rumble rematch with Kevin Owens. As I mentioned earlier, some of our top champions like Gunther and Roman Reigns and Io Sky are currently not scheduled to be at the show. So I think we should really heavily lean on somebody like Logan Paul and Rhea Ripley and even the Judgment Day, which I will be talking about a little bit later, to defend their titles and really make commotion out of their titles and continue to put prestige on them and shed that spotlight on them. Now, if you guys watched this year's Royal Rumble, you would know that Logan Paul and Kevin Owens had a title match. Obviously, Logan Paul retained. I definitely do think that the ending of the match was very strange. Like I said earlier, I was there at the Royal Rumble. I will leave my vlogs and reactions down below if you guys want to check that out. But it was definitely a very strange ending. Logan Paul had brass knuckles, was going to hit it with Kevin, but then Kevin took the brass knuckles, hit Logan. And then because the ref saw it, disqualified him, so then Logan Paul retained. It was a really weird ending. I definitely do think that if they have this rematch and it is a clean one-on-one match, Kevin Owens could probably take the title off of Logan. And that leads us into our last match prediction that will also be another title defense. And that is Judgment Day versus Awesome Truth or DIY. The reason why I bring up two potential opponents is because these two tag teams, DIY and Awesome Truth, have been having a little bit of history with the Judgment Day. As we know, DIY had an amazing match against Judgment Day a few weeks ago on Raw. I absolutely loved it, and that's why I'm bringing them up. I think it would be very entertaining. Now, as far as storyline goes, I think the top contender would be Awesome Truth, which is the tag team consisting of R-Truth and The Miz. As we know, the past, I think, 2 months, R-Truth has had a lot of involvement with the Judgment Day, thinking that he's a member, trying to kick JD McDonough out of Judgment Day and trying to put himself in, and the whole thing. There's a lot of storyline and chemistry between Awesome Truth and Judgment Day that I think the WWE really enjoys, and I think there's a lot of fun promos and little bits that they can do between now and the Chamber. As I mentioned before, as for DIY, they had the phenomenal match on Raw a few weeks ago, and I think they would do this purely for entertainment purposes. I think the WWE Universe responded very positively to that match, and I think they wouldn't mind doing it again. As I mentioned before, as for DIY, they had an amazing match against the Judgment Day on Raw. There's not much of a storyline developing between the two tag teams, but if they did want to do it, maybe DIY could come up with something like they want another shot at the tag team titles because for whatever reason, and I think honestly it would be such an entertaining match. It's definitely a match that should be on a PLE. It's definitely a WrestleMania worthy match in my opinion. But regardless, whichever two teams they decide to put against Judgment Day, if that is going to be the match at the Elimination Chamber, I'm so excited. Two honorable mentions for each chamber that I think would have been great options for them, but obviously are not going to be in them. For the men's Elimination Chamber, Brock Lesnar is obviously not around anymore for obvious reasons. If all of this wasn't going on, I would definitely pick him, but you know, with what's going on, just not cutting it. On the women's side, I would love to see Indy Hartwell in the chamber solely for the fact that she is Australian. Obviously, I don't think they're going to put her in it. She has a lot more developing to do on the main roster, and she is currently in a tag team with Candice LeRae, and I just don't see her in the chamber, but I am giving her the honorable mention because she's an Aussie icon. Well, everyone, that is it for my 2024 Elimination Chamber predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had so much fun getting to share with you guys my predictions. If you guys want to see more pro wrestling content, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell so you never miss another video, and follow me at It's Victoria Daisy everywhere you can find me. Comment down below what are your predictions and what matches you would love to see in the Elimination Chamber, and comment some superstars you would love to see in both the men's and women's Elimination Chamber. If this video goes well and you guys really seem to enjoy it, I would love to do more of these type of prediction videos here on YouTube for upcoming premium live events. Right now we are on the road to WrestleMania, and I think doing videos like that would be super fun. Follow my TikTok, which is in the description down below. I post daily wrestling and Disney content over there. Don't forget to check the subscription box. I have linked my Royal Rumble vlog and both reactions to the men's and women's Royal Rumble. I actually went last week and it was so much fun, so those videos will be linked down below for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!